Hello, Douglas County School Board. My name is Matthew Donahue, and I'm a student teacher at Thunder Ridge High School here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And there have been some recent conversations amongst parents, teachers, students, and yourselves around what teachers can teach and the appropriate way for all to speak with each other around questions of curriculum and classroom concerns, and about some possible safety concerns that have come to light recently from teachers regarding some parents' behaviors. For instance, recently teachers have approached this very board from Highlands Ranch High School about bringing on an elective of AP African American Studies for students who are interested in it, only to be told that the board will do research and will vote on it later. Mind you, this is an elective and not a required course. Teachers have also been targeted at their homes by angry parents for talking about artists in the Renaissance period and their form of self-expression. And then when answering a simple question from a student about how recently many scholars thought that the Mona Lisa was a self-portrait of Vinci, and how that expression may have been through a portrait that could be viewed as gender fluid, and the teacher was then met with anger and was harassed by the parents of the students in their classroom at the teacher's house about the topic. So I wanted to talk to the board today, as I feel that not everyone remembers that teachers have academic freedom without undue interference or censorship regarding the curriculum in their classrooms. And as long as it's within the framework of the educational goals set by the CDE standards and the school district, they're allowed to teach in whatever way they see fit. And teachers also have the discretion to adapt them to meet the diverse needs of their students, provided they don't stray from the required standards, though. Now, keeping in mind that teachers do have pedagogical discretion, we have the right to decide how best to represent the material in a way that is engaging and appropriate for all of our students. But there may be some misconceptions over what culturally responsive pedagogy is. Some think it's political indoctrination, or some people think it's part of some woke culture agenda, or that it promotes racial division, or that we're pushing an LGBTQ ideology, or that it diminishes traditional academic standards. When in reality, it's simply a well-researched, evidence-based approach designed to help keep students engaged in the classroom. And it prepares them for a complex society through fostering critical thinking, empathy, and also preparing students for success in the real world. So with that being said, I wanted to give everyone somewhat of a high-level view of what culturally responsive pedagogy is and talk about some of the benefits. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right. So culturally responsive pedagogy is an approach designed to meet the needs of all learners by validating their diverse backgrounds while promoting high academic standards and critical thinking. So it aims to create an inclusive, respectful, and academically rigorous environment that benefits all students, places the student at the center of the teaching and learning process. Students develop strong relationships with other students and with adults who believe in their potential and hold them to higher expectations. Students solve problems that exist in the real world, learning skills and knowledge that they will use in their future lives and careers. And students feel that they belong in the classroom. And key elements and principles of why we should implement culturally responsive pedagogy practices is there's a fundamental belief in the ability of all students to learn. Educators must have high expectations for every student in the classroom. And there's active student engagement. So this ensures that students are actually exposed to diverse perspectives, histories, and experiences that reflect the multicultural world that we live in. This not only encourages students to actively engage in their education, but it also promotes critical thinking, empathy, and social awareness. There's varied teaching strategies. So students learn in a multitude of different ways. Teachers need to adjust their methods to fit the diverse needs and learning styles of the students. Or a teacher can simply use techniques to provide temporary support and guidance to a specific student as they learn, or the whole class of students, as they learn a new concept or skill, gradually removing that support as the student becomes more proficient. It also builds connections between home and school. So parents, relatives, community members. We're going to ask you to share stories, give historical overviews, offer support to the student. It also increases communication between the classroom and the home to ensure that the student is getting everything that they need. Benefits of culturally responsive pedagogy. So It's increased student engagement and motivation. When students see their cultural backgrounds reflected in the curriculum, it increases engagement, which can get the students more involved in discussions and group activities and projects. There's also improved academic achievement. So by tailoring these lessons to reflect the students' cultural experiences, students are actually more likely to succeed academically because the curriculum is reflective of their identities. There's also differentiated instruction, which I mentioned a bit ago, where we can cater to diverse learning styles, which helps students who may have previously struggled to achieve higher academic success. It also helps build stronger relationships between teachers and students. So when teachers actively engage with students' cultural identities and incorporate them into the learning process, it fosters mutual respect and trust. And this only strengthens the teacher-student relationship, which is crucial for student success. It also promotes social emotional learning, or what we call SEL. This encourages students to develop a stronger sense of self-worth and confidence. And it also understand and empathize with perspectives that may be different from their own. So it promotes empathy, social skills, and emotional intelligence. There's also a reduction in achievement gaps. So equity in education can really help close achievement gaps by tailoring instruction to meet the diverse needs of all students. And it helps to level the playing field and reduce disparities in academic performance. There's the development of critical thinking and analytical skills. So this promotes inquiry-based learning, where students are encouraged to question assumptions, analyze multiple perspectives, and engage critically with the world around them. There's preparation for a diverse global society. So this is the ability to interact effectively with people from diverse backgrounds. And this is a skill that is essential in today's world. I come from the corporate world. I came from software sales. And this is highly valued in places of employment. It's also valued in higher education and in communities as well. Fostering a positive and inclusive classroom environment is also essential. So CRP creates a class environment where diversity is acknowledged, and which leads to a positive and inclusive atmosphere. And this inclusive environment can reduce instances of discrimination or exclusion amongst the peers. Now addressing parents' common concerns. So I found that there was 4 major concerns. So one being, this is political, not academic. My response is that CRP is grounded in academic research and aims to enhance critical thinking and understanding of diverse perspectives. Concern 2, this creates division, not unity. Well, I would say that it actually fosters empathy, dialogue, and the appreciation for differences, which contributes to unity by reducing misunderstandings. Or number 3 would be, this undermines traditional values. Well, CRP does not negate traditional values, but rather complements them by adding a broader, more inclusive perspective. And concern 4 was, we don't want certain topics taught in the classroom. Well, the goal is to teach students how to think critically about history and current events, and to think for themselves, and it's not to push a particular ideology. How to address safety issues? Well, I would say that there's clear communication and policy support. So the school board should create or reinforce policies that clearly define what culturally responsive pedagogy is and how it benefits all students. When it comes to professional development and teacher support, they should offer teachers continuous training on culturally responsive teaching strategies and how to handle sensitive topics, and also ensure that the teachers understand their rights and have legal support. It also fosters a culture of respect and inclusion. So establish a culture of respect for diversity within the school and within the school district. That way, when students are regularly exposed to diverse perspectives and taught to respect different viewpoints, and also the community may be more accepting of culturally responsive pedagogy through this cause and effect. Teachers can also involve students in discussions about the importance of diverse perspectives in their education. And this is fostering an environment where students advocate for inclusive teaching practices. There's also strong leadership from the school board. So school board, you guys should actively and publicly support culturally responsive pedagogy and reinforce its value at these meetings, and also in district communications and at community events. So there's also some strategies to successfully implement culturally responsive pedagogy. So things such as build a positive classroom culture, set high expectations for all the students, Consider your classroom environment. Is it representative of everybody that's in your class? Encourage group interaction in classes. Use multimedia that positively depict a range of cultures. These are all very simple things that are already being done today. And here's a couple case studies, examples of success. So in Texas 2021, actually there was a state law passed restricting the teaching of critical race theory in schools. And while there was a backlash in Texas, the outcome was that it led to some changes in how CRP was presented. Many districts actually found ways to balance the law's requirements with the need for inclusive pedagogy. Also in Arizona, 2021, the overview was that in Chandler, Arizona, the school district faced backlash over its adoption of culturally responsive teaching practices, particularly when lessons began to explore topics such as immigration or LGBTQ rights. This came to a head after one specific lesson on racial equity sparked protests from conservative parents. And the outcome was that despite the significant pushback, the district was able to maintain its focus on inclusivity and cultural responsiveness. So support for teachers came from the district leadership and from advocacy groups who emphasized the importance of academic freedom. Here are some key points that I have listed here. We have affirmation of students' cultural identities, high expectations for all students, culturally relevant curriculum and instruction, inclusive and responsive teaching strategies, and fostering an inclusive, safe, and supportive classroom environment. And some key outcomes of culturally responsive pedagogy, remember, are going to be increased engagement. So by relating learning experiences to students' lived experiences, CRP is actually going to increase student motivation and participation in class. There's also improved academic achievement. CRP has been shown to contribute to higher academic achievement, particularly for historically marginalized students, because it provides a more inclusive and supporting learning environment. There's also cultural competence and social skills. So CRP is going to help all students become more culturally competent and socially aware. And it's going to prepare them to live and work in a globalized, multicultural society and workplace and campuses, basically their future. There's also reduced achievement gaps. When implemented effectively, CRP can actually help reduce achievement gaps for students of color, low-income students, English language learners, and other historically underserved groups. Here's the time for any Q&A if you have any questions for me. If not, I just would hope that you take this into consideration, and hopefully we can come to a decision and really get CRP out there and get some support behind it. Thank you and have a good day.